Hi there, and welcome to AC's 8-Bit Zone. Today I'm going to get this working. This is my old CCR-82 tape recorder, and it was my first storage device with either of my CoCos. I believe I first used this on my CoCo 1, and I definitely mainly used it with my CoCo 2 that came around 1984, 1985, somewhere in that area. And today I have to get the motor working again. It's like it's not spinning in fast forward or reverse or play. And while I was working on my cassette recorder, of course I'm filming this right now in hindsight, but so it's actually working now. I'll show you how I got it back into working order, and it turns out that it's more than just the belts that are the problem. But while I was working on the second problem of my original cassette recorder, a good friend from CoCo Talk, Rick Euland, worked out a deal to send me this. So this is an extra one that he had lying around that's partly broken. It's not ejecting, but it's a good shell, and he says it's in working order. So it's possible that I could borrow some parts from this unit or from the other unit, but hopefully to get one good working cassette recorder out of the deal. So let's get started. And also, I'm going to make a video about hacking the cassette player. I've found some ways that we could improve the performance, possibly, but we're going to hack in and change the way that the cassette recorder records a program on the tape. And that's going to come out in my next video, which will come out next week. So make sure to check in for that. I have this old game called Maze of Moycolin that was a typed-in game from the Rainbow magazine, and I typed this in the mid to late 80s. I saved it on this cassette, and I want to see if I can retrieve this game just to see if it's still good on the tape or not. So I really want to repair this cassette player. This is the Radio Shack CCR-82, and it seems to be getting power, and I saw some signs of life. I heard a noise inside telling me that the motors are probably working, but I couldn't get the spindles to turn. So let's open this up and see what's wrong with it. Here's the model number, CCR-82. It's part number 26-1209. Oh, look. Here's part of the problem anyway. Ooh, yeah. Looks like some pieces of a little silicone belt. This belt feels like it's still working, but it's a little bit loose, I would say. To be able to lift this circuit board off, there are a couple of screws that must be removed. There was one here, and the second one was hidden underneath the wire bundle right there. The one board mounting screw was here, and the other here underneath the wire bundle, and to get to these wires you have to remove a little brown tie-down wire. It wraps around the wire bundle a couple of times and just holds it down to the PCB. The other thing you'll need to do is remove a few soldered wire connections. The speaker has a white and black wire here that need to move out of the way. There's a couple of battery connections over here. And finally a battery connection over here. But with that, hopefully I can now peel back the main board. Okay, so there is a third belt here. Oh, it also feels a little bit loose. Let's go ahead and get that off there. Okay, so going on the hopes that the belts are the only problem, here's what we have. We have the remains of one belt between 40 and 45 millimeters, maybe it's around 60 millimeters, just over 100 millimeters. The belts have gone sort of gooey over the years. It's leaving behind little traces of melted rubber. Well, you can find kits of replacement belts. It's sort of a grab bag potluck kind of a thing as to whether you'll get exact sizes that you need or not. So I'm just going to go through here, do a little sorting. Well, I've sorted through the different bands, and you really don't get many different sizes. You just get a whole lot of copies of a few sizes. So after going through all of those, I've pulled out 3 that might be close enough. By the way, I've never done this before, so don't take what I'm doing here as any correct way to do this. That's a little tight, that secondary belt there. Sort of don't like the way it's pulling on that pulley there. I found another belt that is just a little looser than that first one, and it fits on here pretty nicely. It's not putting so much strain, I don't think, on the mechanism. Plus I think it'll stretch a little bit after a day or two of use, so I think that's okay. I also went online to Color Computer Archive and I got the service manual to confirm the routing of these belts. So this underneath belt, it's coming around, it goes behind this, and then it's on a pulley underneath, the large pulley. Okay, there's that one. And then there's the main pulley here, running like that. Okay, and then obviously the little pulley right there. And it also indicates all the places where you should lubricate the plastic pieces or the metal on metal pieces. So I'm just going to go through now and clean off any spots of the old lube and then reapply some silicone grease. Okay, I think I have way too much silicone grease on there. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to put the belts on. Let's see how this does. Here's rewind and here's fast forward. So let's see, when we rewind, this pulley swings over. So this gear now activates the rewind spindle right there. Okay, so we're rewinding. Okay, but if we stop and press fast forward, now this guy goes that way and he should start turning. Yeah, now he's turning the forward spindle. Okay. Guess the same thing would happen if I believe this is play. Yeah, play is the same pulley direction as fast forward. So there's fast forward. Well, play is a little different. Oh yeah, play moves that one, and fast forward and rewind move that one. Okay, so it's a higher gear, so that makes sense. Okay, so play, fast forward, record, all right. Okay, and now what this little pulley does is, this is the 3-digit mechanical counter, and want to make sure that works. I think this one will do. It's a little hefty. Yeah, but it works. All right. I think it's worth putting this back together enough just to see where we're at, see if things are working. It looks like I need to be pretty careful right down here where all the wiring bundle is. Board mounting screws that go down on this end. Bam. The one under the wiring. That goes there. Bam. Okay, now we want to make sure that we don't have wires shifting that get caught in the pulley. Okay, there we go. We'll give that a few twists. There we go. So those aren't going to go far. You'll go far. What was that guy's name? Was it Dexter? You'll go far. Alright, let's see if we can resolder these connections without lifting the board back up. This is the speaker wiring. You could always lift the board back up and get to that a little easier. Let's get something and replace this old crusty tape with something fresh. Now let's see if it works. Alright, so play. There he goes. See if rewind works. Yeah. Okay, the instruction manual is recommending that the pause be in the out mode because the CoCo is going to control the pause function, and monitor in, that's just if you want to hear the sounds while the program is being loaded, and it's recommending that the volume start on the P setting, and then if you have problems loading, you may have to adjust the volume. Hey, tape spinning. Nice. So I'm not getting any audio out of the tape player at all, and I'm not sure whether it's the playback head or the IC chip on the board. But when I probe the preamp output that should be coming out of the IC, I'm not getting any signal. So to figure out whether it's the playback head or the IC chip, I'm bypassing the playback head. So I've disconnected the playback leads, the white and the red lead, from here and here, and I'm going to drive in a known good signal into this variable resistor. So by applying a 1 kilohertz signal, I can find out whether that preamplifier is working or not. Okay, so the setup is I'm driving in a 1 kilohertz signal in place of the playhead, and then the amplifier input should come in on pin 14. That would be straight from the playhead, and if the preamp is working, there should be an amplified signal on pin 3, and that's where I'm not seeing any signal on pin 3. So I'm applying, and to make the tape player work, you have to supply power to the IC chip by pressing the play contactor. So you can just press this contactor here. Now the IC and the rest of the circuit gets power from I think it's a 6 volt DC power supply. So with power on, and I'm checking at pin 14. Okay, so I have test signal going into the preamp there. And on pin 12, there's almost a volt. I think it's about a diode drop. So it looks like the chip is making that DC bias for the external circuitry, but definitely that preamp has failed, and this IC is probably bad. I ordered a replacement IC just as a shot in the dark, just in case that was the problem. And it's looking like I'm probably going to need to try that new IC in place of this one. Okay, IC removed. There's a socket in place, and here's the old chip. This is a MPC 1350C made by NEC. I have a new chip ready to go in. Okay, new chip in, apply power, and actually connecting the DC jack doesn't really apply power to the board. Power actually flows through the 3 mode switches, the fast forward, rewind, and the play switches. So the way I've been powering the board is just to press the play contact switch. Oh, don't know if you can hear that. I'm getting sound out of the speaker. Curious if there's any signal coming out of the preamplifier now. Oh, so now one difference is now my input signal that's driving into pin 14, the AC 1 kilohertz is still there, but now it's riding on a DC offset of about 1 volt, almost 1 volt. And let me see what's on pin 3. Oh yeah, definitely we have signal out of pin 3 now. It's a little more than half of a volt.
peak to peak. Okay, so that definitely seems that the IC was a problem. Okay, so it was bad. With the new IC in here, I'm going to reassemble everything one more time. I'll reattach the play head and put the case back on, and we'll give this a second try. Hey, a big thank you goes out to Rick Euland. While I was working on this, a friend of mine from CoCo Talk was able to work out a deal with me to send me this cassette recorder. And at the time, I had no idea what I needed for parts to repair my old original cassette recorder. So Rick said, here is definitely a good shell that probably mostly works. Just needs a lot of cleaning, a lot of greasing, some retro brighting. Might even need a replacement cassette door. But as far as he knows, it has a lot of good parts in it on the main board. So if this doesn't work out, so I've placed a new main IC on my board. So and it seemed to be working in this test mode, but I'm going to remove my test input signal and replace the playhead connections. If something still doesn't work here, maybe we have a backup plan with this one, or at least there are some good parts that we can hopefully combine and get at least one solidly working cassette recorder out of this deal. So thanks, Rick. That was really quick shipping. I super appreciate you digging this up out of your collection. Thanks again. The main IC chip has been replaced now, and a couple of other things that I did after that was to replace the main bolt cap on the 6-volt power supply, and I also had to repair a couple of broken wire connections down near the bottom left of the circuit board where the little tie-down strap holds those wires in place. And we're back for another try, and here I have the P setting for volume, and the pause is out so that the CoCo can control by the relay, and the monitor is in so we can hear sounds over the built-in speaker. Okay, we're going to try this again. Fingers crossed. All right, so it found the file name. Oh, okay, so first it found the file on the tape, but we're getting I/O errors. Same spot. Okay, that's a little bit louder. So now I've moved the volume up to level 8. It said that you may have to adjust the volume. Okay. And you can always take the pause function off and back on. If you go to off, then you can control the play from here and go back to the out position to let the CoCo take over. Okay, it seems like it's going farther this time. Okay, we got a lot farther. I believe there's about 30 seconds of total audio. So the Maze of Moycolin was a game that I typed in from the Rainbow magazine. I think it was in the 1986 issue, April 86, or was it April 84? One or the other. And this is not the original tape. It looks like part of my original tape was erased. So this tape is one that I've just recorded on this same cassette player. Alright, success. So what I did was I found the original Maze of Moy-Cullen program on Rainbow on tape, and it was actually a disk file. So I loaded that by drive wire, and then I did a C save back to this tape, and I was hearing the audio and everything was working and spinning, and it seemed good. And in C loading, we get errors when the volume knob is on the P position. You can hear the volume. It sounds nice and loud, but for some reason there's just data errors in that volume level. So by adjusting the volume up, I'm on the setting of 8. It goes as high as 10, but at 8 it was able to load. At about 6, it sounded like the same volume as it sounded in P, so I went up a little from there, and that's why I went to 8, just to crank it up a little bit, and that seems to work. I see nothing special. Okay, go north. I see rats. Take rats. Okay, north. Oh, before you can leave, the rats surround you. As you are devoured, you think, my poor family. Do you wish to try again? Yes. Okay. Don't go to the rats. Let's go east. Flaming torch. Hey. Wonder if that could scare the rats away. Let's take flaming torch. Okay. Let's go back and get those rats. North, I think it is. Yep, rats. Cast. Oh, you can't throw the flaming torch at them. Okay, so here's everything you can do. You can navigate, you can take, you can kill, you can put, or you can cast. And looks like here's your inventory. So kill. Kill what? Kill the rats. With what? Flaming torch, of course. I see burned rats. Okay. North. I see broadsword. Take broadsword. Okay, I see nothing special. North again. I see orange sphere. Take, I guess. Orange sphere taken. Okay, dead end. Let's go south. South. Burned rats. Okay, we're back at this corner where we started. East. 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 I see ugly cyclops. Run north. Before you can escape, the cyclops separates your head from your neck. Too bad. You wish to try again. Yes. Okay, that wraps up the restoration of my old cassette recorder. I wasn't quite sure that that was ever going to work again. After I saw that the belts only got me so far, I thought that that PCB was a goner.
but it turns out that it needed a new IC1, the main circuit chip on the board, and that was pretty much the main problem. I don't know what knocked out that IC. Something killed that. I don't know if it happened in storage, just time and humidity or temperature or something killed that chip, or maybe I put it away broken back in the late 80s. I don't remember that being broken. Anyway, whatever, it was the IC chip, and I also replaced the main bulk capacitor. I don't think that was a big problem, but it measured a little low, and we re-greased all the working parts. I know that these break a lot internally. The little guides that guide the switching action of the push buttons are easily broken because they're made of plastic, and so far that's not happened on this unit, but it did happen on the unit that Rick sent me. One of the guides was broken for the rewind push button, so you can press rewind, but when you try to release it, it's jammed because of that broken guide, so it won't come out of reset. But I actually was able to see that his tape player was working. I just have to flip the tape over and fast forward when I want to rewind. But it actually is recording and playing, and it actually is C-saving and C-loading programs onto the tape. Okay, so next video I'm going to hack the cassette player. So I think I found a way to improve its ability in recording programs. So we're going to hack the ROM, and that's going to come out in a video in just a few days, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, see you then.